Yeah. How do we look? We
Oh,
got
you
any?
look fantastic. How do I look? I think all three of us look really good, personally. Okay. So thank you again for meeting with me. Can you start by telling me how you two know each other? You've known each other for a long time, right?
Yeah, we've known each other since we were 13, and we met at school, and we were in the same boarding house. I don't know if that means anything to you in America, but it's like a weird British institution where children are packed off to schools, and so we met at, it's like, I mean, it's like, think Hogwarts, but less fun, and less magic, yeah. And we hung out, we were hanging out a lot with each other, and we kind of bonded over stupid films, comedy films, and movies and TV shows. And we were both big into Ali G at the time, and so we were like these kind of lame 13-year-olds trying to outquote each other on various we were those really annoying kids that overquoted Borat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. I feel like we all kind of lived the same childhood all around the world. It's very strange. um, so I guess Tom S and Tom P, I'll refer to you as. How did it come together that you started working together?
Well, yeah, as Tom was saying, I mean, like, we always had the same sense of humor, and spent our time sort of trying to make each other laugh and other people laugh. And so when we got to university, we just started writing things and putting on like comedy sketch shows, so like just small little shows in the top of pubs and stuff. And then we wrote a mockumentary, which we shot ourselves, having no idea how to do it, but we stuck it on YouTube. It was about a kind of sad student who tries to put on a big techno night, and it all fails and no one turns up. And pretty silly, but it was meant to be a sort of satire of a privileged guy at university, and put that on YouTube, and then that's sort of found an audience, and then we kind of got agents and started kind of writing more professionally from then on.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so it sounds like awkwardness and social anxiety is kind of your forte. Is that on purpose, or does that just kind of happen? I
don't. It's true. It's not conscious. We didn't consciously sort of want to become like specialists in like deeply awkward comedy, but I think we've always found that. I mean, it's an obvious reference, but we also were huge fans of The Office and British shows like that, and like Alan Partridge, and they have that real kind of unique British deeply awkward type sort of soul to them. And I guess we like millions of other people were very influenced by that, but it's always felt, I think, right to sort of want to take the piss out of kind of privileged people trying to be something they're not. That always feels like rich, fertile ground to us. I think in the film, that's very much the kind of hook of the lead character, is this guy who's kind of trying to get away from trying to hide his like privilege, and he's racked with class guilt. And I mean, we are drawing a lot on our own kind of experiences and our own personalities to some degree, but they're kind of heightened versions and scenarios.
So I did want to tell you, I watched it the first time as a screener to write a review, like, I don't know, a month or two ago or something like that. And then I watched it again a couple nights ago,
right,
with the guy who, I mean, he had like a physical reaction. He was like just groaning the entire like last 10 minutes of the film, and just had his head in his hands, and he was like, I gotta go. He was like I felt bad. I was like, are you okay? But so yeah, I think it definitely does resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
we often sort of feel quite bad when people really enjoy the film. They're simultaneously like, it made me feel awful. Thanks so much for showing me. And
just stressing people out, really. But I don't really know. Yeah, for some reason we just had, I think, a masochistic desire to just like write something that was just a birthday that just went as bad as you possibly could imagine. It almost felt quite cruel, but quite satisfying sometimes, sort of setting up this poor character and just being like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen to him next? And then I think people just resonate with that, because like the film does just follow a stream of consciousness that I guess we all have sometimes, where it's just like, you just one fearful thought leads on to another, and then you just get convinced that everyone's against you. And it was just that kind of fun idea of just playing it out as like, what if there was this one weekend where all those thoughts were actually real, and pursuing that just ended up making this sort of deeply uncomfortable and hard to watch movie. But I'm glad you managed to watch it twice anyway.
But did he make it through, this guy? Did he make it through to the end, or did he groan and then sort of leave?
He made it through, but I have a feeling if I wasn't there, he would have turned it off.
Maybe it's not a good date film. I don't know. Maybe it kind of
I'm just so desensitized to everything, because I guess I just watch so many things. I'm able to sort of detach myself from, even though I also very much related to it. So I had a question, and I may be overthinking this, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Is everything that's happening in the movie, is it actually happening, or are we seeing it from Pete's like warped point of view, where everything is like he thinks it's way worse than it actually is? Does this make sense?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. The way I see it is actually, it is all happening, but because I mean, I don't know, it probably doesn't matter, but in terms of just spoiling the end, like knowing what you know about the fact that who the guy is that they're revealing to him. We spoke about this a lot with the cast. Like, if you were actually playing that prank, you would probably be behaving quite odd around this birthday guy, and you would genuinely be having secrets. So, for instance, when he's hearing whispering at the top of the stairs, we were saying that is them being like planning exactly how they're going to reveal it, and let's do this thing with the pub and whatever, and chase him with this axe, that'll be funny. And so we hopefully created these two realities where, on one level, this perfectly harmless, well, pretty intense prank is going on, but it's sort of low stakes. But in Pete's head, these whispers mean something else. They mean kind of like he's going to get ganged up on, he's going to get killed, he's going to be punished or something. And I think it was always just about balancing those two things of keeping the audience on edge as to whether something really nefarious is going on and nightmarish and maybe otherworldly, or just it's just a series of really awkward, bad coincidences that are just kind of leading him into a mental tailspin.
Yeah, and I think we thought the best possible, kind of the scariest possible ending or kind of conclusion to the whole thing is that you can never really know the extent to which one reality is true or the other. That felt like the most sort of appropriate conclusion, like something that's open-ended and that you are left asking that, is it all in Pete's head? Because that's kind of what the experience of those types of social anxiety, that's what that feels like. It's like, it's so relative, it's so much about perspective, that as much as people reassure you, you'll never really know how, you can never be in someone else's head, and you can never fully know how much someone's politely reassuring you that you didn't have a terrible weekend and that everyone wasn't really bored by you, or how much they did, and how much you're imagining it. And so it's good, I think, that people are left hopefully wondering that question, like, to what extent was it in his head, and to what extent was there something bad going on.
Well, can you tell me about where you filmed this? Was the outside that we saw, was it the same place that the inside was shot?
No, it was all in this one house, and we kind of cast and some crew lived in there, and we shot in there over 21 days. And yeah, it was an extraordinary kind of game changer in terms of the production of the whole movie, because suddenly we didn't have the biggest budget, but being able to shoot everything contained like that and still have this kind of real spectacle to the story by just how like stunning and grand the house is, was just a real game changer. So yeah, pretty much everything, and even the pub scene, that pub is actually literally at the bottom of the road of the house. And yeah, the car scenes were all kind of like right on location as well. So yeah, it was really, it was both efficient and also just really fun, because I think there was a great vibe on set from cast and crew, that we were all going to the pub in the evenings and having dinners together and whatever. So I think that made for a really good ensemble feel to the whole piece, and I think that definitely comes through in the movie.
It does. And for not having a big budget, it looked beautiful. I mean, it was so beautifully shot. There were so many interesting different camera angles and things like that. So I think that's why it really stuck out to me, because since I'm kind of just starting to review, I get a lot of like indie films and really low budget. And a lot of them are just, they're not the best. I try and find the good in everyone, but
Yeah.
yeah, as I said, I was really blown away and really impressed about everything about this. So
Thank you. I mean, we were very lucky. We should mention the cinematographer and the director, Andrew and Ben. We were really lucky. You need to, with a film like with this, you need to get lucky in a lot of things. A lot of sort of favors have to come good, and we'd worked with Andrew on other stuff and knew that he was a brilliant comedy director, but he kind of just really stepped it up in terms of bringing a filmic edge and sort of referencing horror shots and making it feel really cinematic. So we can't claim credit for that, but
I was just putting it
no,
out there.
well, just in case he's watching this and he just watches
Right.
us be like, yeah, no, thanks, that was all on us.
Okay, so it is not being released in the UK until June, is that right? Did I read that right?
Yeah, so had a US, so it's on release now in the US on digital, and yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's obviously a very British film, but just a series of coincidences meant that we premiered in New York at Tribeca, and then we sold the US rights first, and then we had our screening at London Film Festival, and then we sold the rights here. So that's why it's sort of been structured like that, but it seems to have worked well. I think I think if we were worried that it wasn't going to travel to the US, I think we've been really like pleasantly surprised by that, because I think it's just these paranoid feelings feel like a sort of universal thing, and not sort of specific to this one guy and his class and his background and his culture and whatever, even though obviously that was how we instinctively wrote it. Hopefully it kind of appeals to a broad range of audiences.
Yeah. Yes, me and Nathan are proof of that. I think it appeals to especially him. Are you working on anything else coming up? Or are you still in this whole cycle, this whole world?
Well, we are. We're trying to kind of write as much more. Lost the power of speech there. We're trying to write as much as possible, and to capitalize on the film, and we were thinking, something eventually set at a wedding would be good, with similar themes going on. Just kind of, I think we like the idea of that kind of, the inherent kind of pressure cooker atmosphere of those events, like a wedding or a reunion or like Christmas or whatever. So I think we want to kind of develop that tone, and just keep stressing people out, keep giving people panic
definitely
attacks.
found your like your niche there.
Yeah.
You're very
Yeah.
good at it. So stick with what works. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to ask you. I'm so starstruck right now. Don't know what else to say.
Well, Tom, can we think of anything we should be watching? Should we be plugging anything, or I mean,
Well, just I hope people, I hope people are out there and spreading the word and downloading the movie. I mean, it's obviously quite hard for a smaller film to kind of cut through the Batmans and Jurassic Worlds of the industry. So I just really hope that if you do watch it and enjoy it, that you tell a friend or get a friend round and give them a very uncomfortable experience and hope they don't turn it off. But yeah, we really hope people can sort of spread the word and get more people to enjoy it.
Well, I will try and spread the word for you.
thank you.
How's that?
Yeah.
I'm doing my part.